And what an honor it is to be with you all again. So, cut the strings. Interesting, huh? There's a bunch of different aspects of this. What I read in the reading about letting go and cutting the strings. But there's also another aspect, and I have this story I'd like to read to you because it just really grabbed my heart. So, this is the way it starts. The first police officer reaches under the 1-ton bale of hay and attempts to lift it off of me. Of course, it doesn't budge. He grabs his flashlight and shines it under the hay into my face. I blink. He yells over his shoulder to his partner, "He's alive, he's alive. Help me move the hay." Even working together, two officers can't move it, not a fraction of an inch. 1,000 pounds each. Of course they can't move it. "Cut the strings," I whisper. My voice is weak. They can't hear me. I am not going to last much longer. If they will just cut the strings, the bale will break apart and they can drag me out of here. "Lift, Joe, lift." "Just cut the strings," I mumble. "Please cut the strings." "Come on, harder. It's too heavy, we can't lift it. We got to go for help. Hang on, we'll be right back." Imagine the pressure this gentleman is feeling. The pressure. And if they would just cut the strings. Cut the strings of what? Could it be an individual that we know that we need to cut the strings with? Could it be the process that we're going through? We take on more and more and more each day, and it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. I don't know about you, but for me, I have somebody that I'm choosing not to cut the strings with. I know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing, and I'm choosing to go along with it because they're that important to me. But there are others, however, that I have had to cut the strings. I have two siblings I haven't talked to in 6-7 years now. I have family members that I really don't have a family per se. I have a family I created with my beloved, but other than that, we're pretty quiet on the home front. So it's what is on your heart today. Cut the strings. Cut that in your head. Cut that in your heart. Release all the burdens that you carry. I am so ready for this voting to be over. I don't know about you. It was kind of interesting because I was trying to meditate in here earlier and I got up and had to go into the restroom because there were people talking politics. And that's okay. I just know that for me, I voted. I'm done. I got to let it go. I cut the strings, right? It's time to now trust in what we say we believe in, the essence, the energy, the all-oneness that we talk about. Do we truly believe that? Do we honestly believe that which we are is going to take care of us? It's very important to take a look at what I believe and how I put my energy out there. Because as Melinda has said over and over and over again, one little flick, one little butterfly, our thoughts, our energy, we put it out there, it affects everything, right? Right? Right. Back to the story. I'm alone again in the growing darkness. Wonderful, painless, peaceful, irresistible sleep beckons. I struggle to remain conscious. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are they? How long does it take for police, fire, ambulance to arrive? Where is the Coast Guard? Where are the Marines? Where's that one old farmer with enough common sense to just cut the strings? The desert air grows chilly as the sky darkens. I grow weaker. Dizziness overcomes me, and I begin to drift off into that gray space, somewhere between the living and the dead. Help finally arrives. One of the police officers bends down so I can see his face. "Hold on, a fire engine is here. There are 6 men aboard." I do the math. 2 big, strong cops and 6 burly firemen must move a ton of dead weight off me. That's 245 pounds each. No way can they possibly do that. But somehow, miraculously, they do. A couple of neighbors who have arrived at the scene stand by to catch me. They lower my limp body to the ground where I lie in a broken heap. Why didn't they just cut the strings? They could have saved a long, tortured hour. How much are we carrying? How much are you carrying it? Is it too big? Is it overwhelming? We talk about cutting the strings, but do you know what that means exactly? I have this story a number of years ago, back when my mom had passed. She'd been gone for about 2 months, and Lynn and I had gone to Scarborough Fair, and I met this tiny little spiritual lady. And she says, "Come, let me do a reading." And I'm going like, okay. So I go in her little wagon, and she looks at me, and the first thing she says, without me saying anything, is, "When are you going to release your mother?" And I went, "What?" And she said, "It's time. You've taken care of her many, many lifetimes. It's time to cut the strings." And I went, "I can't. I don't want to do that. Don't make me cut the strings." And she took me through a process, and we cut the cords. I don't know. I may have her another lifetime. Who knows? But that's okay, because she's pretty cool. But is it too big? Is there something in your life that you really need to let go of, that you have burdened yourself with? Some of them it doesn't seem like it's that big, but if you stop long enough to hear what thoughts are going on in your mind, those are the burdens that you're carrying, that you allow to inundate your brain and your body on a daily basis. Does it affect us emotionally? Yes. Does it affect us physically? Yes. Does it help us to get out in the world and be who we truly want to be? Not really. So, my question to you today is, are you willing to take a bold, beautiful step and cut some strings? Are you buried under crushing burdens? Projects that are too huge, schedules that are too complicated? Maybe you're trying to do too much at once. I know I am. My days run into each other. I don't even know dates anymore. You know, they say when you retire, you got a lot of free time. I'm doing a whole lot more than I was ever doing prior to that. I don't know how I did it before. Cut the strings. So, how heavy is hay? A piece of hay, about the weight of a feather, right? Light, billowy. I lived on a farm for 2.5 years. We used to have to deal with hay. And it's right. I mean, before they bind it up and they tie it up and everything, it's hardly anything. We used to love to play in the hay. A piece of hay is about the weight of a feather. How many pieces of hay does it take to make 2,000 pounds? Lots. That package of 16 bazillion individual pieces of hay wrapped in a gigantic bundle is crushing weight. But separated, it would have been nothing. And the man says, "I feel bad saying this because it makes me sound ungrateful, and I am very grateful to the guys who saved my life that night. But there is a point to be made here, isn't there? We need to cut the strings." Especially where we are in our lives today. I don't know about you, but I want the freedom to be who I want to be, without judgment, without complaints, without telling me that I'm not supposed to be 12 years old anymore. I have the childlike innocence. And I remember at one point in therapy, I told the therapist I will not mature because if I do, I'm going to lose this, and I don't want to lose this. And she laughed and said, "It will never go away." I went, "Oh, thank God." But I had to cut some strings, right? The burdens and the heartache that I carried. I was pitiful as a child, and in a young and teenage years, I was miserable. I was one of them depressed, sitting in the room singing to all the sad songs. The burdens that I carried were probably senseless, but I carried them anyway because that's what I learned how to do. But as I began to get into more of a spiritual aspect, it's really touched me in a way that I can still have that fun-like energy, but I can be mature in some moments too if I have to. How about you today? Do we know how to have fun? Yeah. Awesome. Do we know if there's strings that need to be cut? Yes. So let's just do that. Anybody willing to take a moment? We're going to cut some strings. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you're willing. Get an image of the string, of the person, of the issue in your mind. And with loving care, just gently snip. Thank them, thank the situation, bless them. Let them know that you are truly appreciative of what it's done to bring you to where you are today, but you no longer need it. Take a deep breath and come back here and release the heavy hay. Release those issues in your heart. Release those issues in your mind, and know that we are here to bless one another. We are here to love each other. We're the ones that we're waiting for, as it's been said over and over again. There's an aspect of our energy that needs to go out into the universe to bring those around that don't know that they don't know that they don't know yet. We need to wake them up. And in order to do that, we need to release and become free of our own burdens. We can't help them if we're burdened with ourselves. But again, remember, those blessings and the helping of others is because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. It's a big difference. Take that to heart. Know that you are loved. Cut the strings and cut yourself free. Do one thing at a time, and do the things that God has meant for you to do today. Thank you. You going to do it? Go ahead if you want to. I'll do it. Thank you. Have a seat, Melinda. Okay, now, again, take a deep breath. Unload your laps. Put your feet on the ground. Get grounded. Feel the grounding underneath your feet. Let's get solid. Connect with the universe. If you want to take a deep breath, do so. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, please do. Unload your laps. Be free. You just cut strings, right? And in this space, this pure essence of beautiful energy that we are a part of embraces us as we be that which we say we truly want to be: authentic, pure love and gentleness, kindness. For every person who crosses our path, we have an effect. So in the space, in the moment of silence, embrace you. Love you. Cut more strings if you need to. Be in that space for a moment with yourself. And now gently come back. And open your eyes when you're ready. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Know that your presence is important. Know that you're here for the most amazing experience and sharing with others. We are so blessed to have you here. Amen.